Hello, Vector Freeze here. This is a continuation video about Shadowman, and if you don't know who he is, I highly suggest you check out my last video. I'll post a link to my last video in the description box below. Okay, now let me just backtrack just a little. In this segment, I'll be showing you different versions of Shadowman in each era he was published in. I'll also give you my thoughts and opinions on the protagonist Jack and how he was portrayed without going too much spoilers. Plus, we'll explore its theme and critique the overall versions of Shadowman. Okay, now let's begin. Let's start with the very first Shadowman named Jack Boniface, who made his debut back in 1992. This version of Jack is a jazz musician who played at various gigs all over New Orleans. He is considered a hopeless romantic who dreams of a record deal. Jack receives his powers unknowingly from a woman. Once in possession of the powers of the Shadowman, Jack was slowly losing his mind whenever Nightfall arrives. He would become more faster, stronger, more violent, and acting on instinct instead of thought. He soon received help and guidance from a voodoo priestess named Neddy. Even with the help, he still acts very impulsive due to the nature of Shadowman's ability. It is an entity that's incredibly violent, but not necessarily evil. It's a benevolent being that wishes to do good by harming others for their evil deeds. Neddy feels that Jack's newborn nighttime identity of Shadowman is a part of his destiny. In my opinion, Jack is a very charming guy, yet very streetwise. This version of him is very likable and relatable in a sense. He knows all too well that New Orleans is a rough city to live in, but it is filled with opportunities, businesses, and is rich with culture and history. The underbelly of it is filled with drug pushers, hate crime, local murderers, and the occasional cult worshiper. To put it simply, Jack feels more like the reluctant hero, someone who doesn't want the mantle or the power or perform the heroic deeds, but he soon grows to accept it and understands why he must do it. Now, this version of Shadowman, it's actually one of my favorites. It was, how can you say, culturally progressive. You know, they tackle issues on drugs, sexism, racism, cultural diversity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, this is very liberal. It's come on, it was the 90s. It was actually pretty conservative. Not like today's liberalism, which is like out of control and crazy. No. This version of Shadowman, it's very tame and subtle. It doesn't preach to you like modern comics. Even though this incarnation of Shadowman explored those themes, they are not the main topic. They just tell a good story of a man who does not want to accept his fate. But what I love about this version of him, his journey on the road, his adventures, and they do a lot of monologuing, but to get to know the Shadowman side of him is more of a slow and methodical pace, which it may turn off for some for modern readers. Unless you're a very patient reader and who likes to take their time, then yeah, this version of Shadowman is very enjoyable. On the next video, I'll be covering Acclaim's version of Shadowman. I would like to thank you for watching and see you next time.